Good morning, YouTube and my YouTube family. It's your girl, Miss Rochelle, coming to you with another video. And I just want to speak in general. And one of the reasons why you haven't seen Miss Rochelle go live since I think it was Monday or Tuesday, maybe, is because I haven't been feeling my best. Lupus, and I don't know if you all heard me say this before, but lupus have you very fatigued, very tired. And so most of the time, I can, pretty much work through the fatigueness. I don't let it weigh me down. I try to get up every day. I get up every day and walk. Well, before I walk, I spend time with my Heavenly Father. And then I get up and start my day, my coffee. And I know caffeine is definitely not good for me, but okay. I've been drinking it so long. But I only could drink 1 cup. I remember when I was younger, I could drink more than one, but now I can only drink one, and it's not even a full cup. I can drink like a half of a cup and then I'm done. But lupus have you very fatigued. It takes your energy. And so I've been battling this fatigueness. And most of the time I can get up, once I get up and get started. Lupus also have you very, very stiff, like a board. It reminds me of the Tin Man of Dorothy, the Yellow Brick Road. I can't even think of the name of the show, but anyway, The Wizard of Oz. But anyway, I remind myself like the Tin Man because I have to stretch my back, my joints, my legs, and just like the Tin Man would squeak, I feel like the Tin Man that my bones be squeaking in the morning after being, in one spot for so long. You get stiff. And that's the arthritic part of lupus. And so, but it have you very fatigued. My energy level is very low. So I don't have a lot of energy. Most of the time I have to fight, and it is a struggle. And so I struggle with that daily, all day, every day. So, so I've been very fatigued, and that's why you haven't seen me go live. I wanted to go live yesterday evening, but I couldn't because when you feel that tired, you cannot concentrate. You cannot think because your body is tired, And so I don't like to come on when I'm not feeling my best because I always want to come and give you my best, even when I don't feel my best. You with me? So, but lupus does have you very, very tired. Not only that, when I was in my childbearing years, I had to have a total hysterectomy because my cycles were so heavy that it would make me anemic. And so I would have to go in for blood transfusions. Like every 2, maybe 3 months, I would have to go in to the hospital. I would be admitted, and I would go in most of the time on a Friday. and spend the weekend in the hospital getting blood transfusions because I needed them because my blood count was so low. Well, once the doctor talked to me about, the infusions, the blood transfusions, and what I needed to have done. And so I think I was 43, maybe. I went in and I had a total hysterectomy. And so that threw me into menopause very early. And so I had to deal with the hot flashes, and oh God, it's just what your grandmama them say, like somebody didn't let a fire under you. And I never forget when my oldest was getting ready to get married. I was in the hospital. I had to have the left knee. I had torn the meniscus and some other arteries and tissue and ligaments in my knee. And so I had to go in, and they had to do like that laparoscopic surgery on my knee. And so I had gotten out, and my son was like, "Mom, you haven't found you anything to wear to the wedding." And I say, "No, but, I will, in the dress that the suit that I had picked, Dillard's, excuse me, was sold. They didn't have my size. So that led me to pick something else. So I was just puzzled because I had my mind set on that one outfit, and that's what I wanted. And so when we went to order it, they didn't have it. And so in my size, so I had to find something else, and that was difficult because that means that I had to think, okay, what is it that you gonna get? And so finally I found something, and we got it done, got it altered and everything, and went on. But child, them hot flashes was hitting me, and it was around winter. But Houston don't really have a winter. But it was cool, And so, but them hot flashes was whooping my behind. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Jesus, come get your girl, And so, got through with that, got past it, went on, got it finished. But I had been, very tired, not really wanting to go live. So I decided this morning that I would make a quick video, stating, because a lot of people don't understand when they don't see you or when you're not live. And I like to share because I want someone who might be struggling, who might be in despair, who might be discouraged, whatever the situation may be, I want them to look at me and say, if she's been through all that and she's still here, and could tell about it and smile and laugh all at the same time, I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that you're not alone, whatever your struggle might be. Now, all our struggles are not the same, but a struggle ain't nothing but a struggle. I don't care how you put it. I don't care how you try to dress it up. It's a struggle. If you are discouraged, you're discouraged, and And what I've learned in my Christian walk, you guys, and how, because I tell you all the time that, I want you to gain that personal relationship. Not to say that you don't, but if you don't, gain that personal relationship with your Heavenly Father. And the Christian walk is not easy. I say that all the time as well. It's not it's something that you have to do, like nourishment. It's nourishment for the body, for the spirit. The reason why it's nourishment for the spirit, for the body, is because you're able to ward off evil, sickness, depression. And me, I suffered with depression because when I lost my husband of 28 years of marriage, that was the most difficult death and grieving process that I had to endure. And I never forget my oldest son, mother-in-law. She told me, and she stayed with me. Let me tell you, that lady came to my house every day. And when she didn't come to my house, she called me every day at the same time, 8 o'clock. And she stayed on the phone with me hours, you guys, hours. She would sit and she would talk to me and she would comfort me and she would talk, hours. And so one day, I think I said this once before, one day I was in there in my house, doing pretty good. My oldest son had come home from college. We were getting ready the youngest one was getting ready to go off to college. We were in there and we had just went to Walmart and I had began to get his things that he needed, comforters, tiles, the little toiletries, all that stuff, And so I'm there and I'm going through it. I'm putting them in bins because he had to have bins to put his things in. And so he was still at school, And so I was there. I didn't have nothing to do. Now she had come to my house. And so I was in there, but I was in the back. And I didn't hear the doorbell ring, didn't hear her beating. But, child, she stood out when I did get a grasp that somebody beating and hollering at the door. I thought it was my sister. But come to find out it was Miss Connie Nelson. My son's mother-in-law. That lady, she was sweet because she just took hold to me, And so I thanked her for that. And to this day, I still thank her for it, And, but I appreciate her so much because she was there when no one else was there. Because, see, people don't understand that, when you lose someone and they haven't been through it, some people, don't know what to say. Some people don't know how to react to you. So, that what make people stand off. And so, not that they don't care, but they just don't know how to say something comforting to you. And you're going to find that. I found that out of some of my closest friends. Like, I got some good friends named the Pews. And Nyla, Nyla cannot stand anything like losses, sickness. She just don't do good with that at all. So we as close friends, we all know that. So when my good friend Jackie, when Jackie lost Greg this past year, they all called me and they say, Rochelle, Greg don't look like he gonna make it. And I say, he don't? I say, wait a minute, nah. So they told me, they say, no, we don't think he gonna make it through, you know. So I said, oh, okay. They say, well, are you coming? I said, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. So I went down there and I sat with Jackie. And so the reason why they were calling me is because I had been through it. You know, they were there. Jackie, Greg, they were all there. See, Jackie and Greg, when we didn't go home to Memphis, my husband's hometown, during the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, we would be at home. And so they were, Greg was from Florida and she was from Connecticut, and they met at Texas Southern. They met at Texas Southern. And so when he took ill and passed, they all called me because they knew that I had been through and I could be more assistance to her than they could because they still had their husbands, which is understandable. You know, you can't really understand what a person going through unless you didn't experienced it yourself. You're with me? And so death is not an easy thing, you know. And so she would talk to me and she would say, Rochelle, well, did you feel like you wanted to just go and be with them? I say, girl, yeah. Girl, yeah. I say, but Jackie, you got to stay busy. You know, you got to stay occupied. And I say, let me tell you what I did. And I told her, I said, I just went into a shell, you know. And I told her, I said, and that was the worstest thing because it was detrimental to me. It made me sicker than what I really was. And so now I'm trying to get my lupus under control. And it's been a battle. It really has. And so not only that, the older I get, it works on me even more. And so, you know, if you don't, if you allow what's going on in the physical interrupt your spiritual path, it's trying to take your attention off what God really has for you. And see, whenever God is trying to take you higher, you're going to go through things. You're going to be tested. And the reason why you're tested is for you to be able to withstand what God is getting ready to bless you with. Because you got to be equipped. See, he cannot take you higher if you're not equipped to handle what he's getting ready to take you toward. So you got to be ready. You got to be girdled up. You got to have that word within you. And a lot of times it does not take the word. A lot of times it takes your own personal relationship that you have with God. It's your own personal relationship. It has nothing to do with who you are. You have to get this thing. I could sit here and I could tell you because I've been through it. I have. And when I tell people, people look at me and say, wow, wow. You know, and sometimes I look at myself and I say the same thing. Wow. And sometimes I ask God, why am I still here? You know, why? And he always tell me, because you have a purpose. You have a purpose. You have a calling that I placed over your life. See, he tell me that. Every time I question him, he tell me the same exact thing. Because I predestined you. You have a calling over your life. And I always tell you, it's not hard for you to find out what your calling is. It's very easy. It's that very thing that brings you joy. And I love to talk to people. I love encouraging. I love praying over people. And I do that on a daily basis, really. Yeah. I'm a prayer warrior. So I stay in prayer. I'm always in prayer because that's my personal relationship that I have with my Heavenly Father. And so since he has been so good to me, I honor him for being and loving me when I couldn't even love myself. See, I thank him for thinking more of me than I can even think of myself. And what he has put in me, I thank him for it, because I couldn't be here without him. I'm telling you what I know. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. And when I sit before you and tell you that I've been through it, see, when I tell you that, I really want you to get it. I really want you to understand. Wow. Now, if she done been through all that, I know I could make it. Yeah, you can. Hello, world. Yes, you can. Greater is he that is within you than you that is within the world. You know? And I'm thankful because, you know, I tell you all the time that me and my late husband, we ain't stepped out big toe in no college, but we got 2 college graduates. You understand? See, that wasn't easy. No. Raising 2 boys. And the youngest one, the one that I tell you that always went against the grain. You know, he's doing what he always wanted to do. And he's a U.S. Marshal. He hunts down the worst of the worst. I'm proud of both of them because they really didn't give me any trouble. You know, he did some silly things. Yes, he did. I was called every day. Every day. They called me every day till he went to high school. When he got to high school, he always played they both did. They always played little league football. When they age started little league and they got to middle school and high school, you know, they were able to play. So my youngest, he played middle school football. He played high school. When he got to high school, he only played 2 or 3 games his freshman year. And he went on they put him on JV, and he played 2 or 3 games then. And then he left there and they moved him to varsity. So his whole 3-4 years in high school, my youngest played varsity football. And so, um, he big old, he's still kind of big and thick, you know. They solid. They ain't flabby. They solid. Just big, thick. Yeah. And so, big old lineman. And when he went off to Texas Lutheran in Seguin, Texas, private university, and they only picked the cream of the de la creme. Yeah. And so he didn't have a problem getting in there because neither one of them, you know, they didn't have a problem going to school. They did because I taught them at home. See, before my children could go to kindergarten, they were reading. See, I didn't work during the summer. We had summer school, but I never worked during this. I didn't start working during the summer until they got in high school, middle school, high school. I believe that's when I started working, you know, during the summer. But the whole time they was young, I was at home during the summer. See, when they was out, I was out. Yeah, I didn't work during the summer. And so before my children, my nieces too, nephews, before they went to school, they could read. And I never forget, the last one I taught was my great niece Zoe. And Zoe had an aunt, her aunt and her about a year apart. Okay? So I had taught Katie, and she would sit there and listen. So while I was teaching her, she was picking it up too. So by the time I got to her, she had already had the basics, you know, the phonetic sounds, you know. So before they even got to kindergarten, they could read, you know, and it just helped them in their learning process, because reading, math, you have to read. Yeah. And so everything is reading. So reading, just like they tell you that reading is fundamental, yes, it is. And your children need to know that, because now, even in public school, they are not teaching the children how to read. In kindergarten, when I was in kindergarten, I learned how to read. Well, you know, that demolished. That been gone. You know. But yeah, I learned how to read in matter of fact, it was Dick and Jane. Went up the hill for that pail of water. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Dick and Jane. And so I'm telling my age now. Yeah, I'll be 54 this year. So we are November the 9th. And I remember reading in kindergarten. I learned how to read. So when my children was home, I taught them how to read. I taught them how to spell. I taught them math, just like my father made us learn our timetables. I did the same thing for them, you know. So I didn't change from that. And sometimes, you know, they say time bring about a change. It does, but not for everything. Sometimes you have to stay with that old-fashioned raising. Sometimes you have to stay there, because sometimes that's what they need. See, children nowadays are living in this computer cyber world, and it's sad. See, my youngest, I was in a Christian bookstore. Picking up little trinkets, gifts. And in the Christian bookstore, my son, my youngest, who was an avid reader, he was more avid in reading than the oldest one. Now they both were good readers and good students, but I still debate who was the smartest out of them two. You know, excuse me. And even though my oldest was older and more mature than the youngest, I still would try to figure out, who's the smartest, because they both did real well. Those standardized tests, that wasn't nothing for them. They passed them with their eyes closed. They got commended, especially the youngest one. The youngest one. That's why I say I can't really, and I keep everything, and they tell me, Mama, you need to throw some of this stuff away. I got all their test scores, all their report cards, all their Happy Mother's Day crafts that they used to do. But I would look at their test scores and try to figure out who. But they were so together that I couldn't really tell, And so my youngest was he was a very avid reader. And so I never forget, we was in the Christian bookstore, and I think he was about in 5th grade. Anyway, he was he was on the other side because they have a children's side. And so he was over there, had been over there. And so next thing, when I looked up again, he come with these three books. And the books, and I said, well, child, where you going with them? I say, what is that? And he say, oh, Mama, these Chronicle of Nadia. And I say, Chronicle of Nadia, what is that? He say, oh, that's you. My pastor was talking about C.L. Lewis. And my pastor said, for you all that don't know who C.L. Lewis is, and my youngest son was sitting between me and my husband. And so we sit down, we listen. He was a Protestant. And so C.L. Lewis, and he was the writer of those books. It's a movie that came out about him, but my son had already read the books before that movie come out. And so, and the movie is depicted just like the books. But anyway, it's a series of them, y'all. It's not just that one movie. It's a series of those books. And so my Pastor Bird, was preaching about C.L. Lewis, the Protestant. He was a non-believer in God, but he wrote these books about Christianity. See, those books depict Christianity. The lion was the king. The Bible speak of the lion in the book of Acts and Revelation. Yes, it does. And so those books, my son picked up 3 of them in the Christian bookstore. So he asked me, he said, Mama, can I get them? I say, yeah, come on, boy. And so he read. And so when my pastor was doing the sermon about C.L. Lewis, he said, for you all that don't know who C.L. Lewis is, so my son bumped me and his daddy. He said, he ain't talking to me, he talking to y'all. Because I know who C.L. Lewis is. I looked at him. I said, what? He said, yeah, Mama, I know who C.L. Lewis is. So I went on back to listening to my pastor, right? So my husband looked at me and laughed. Well, and I couldn't wait till we got out of church because I wanted him to tell me, well, who is C.L. Lewis and where did you learn who he is? And so he said, Mama, you know them books you bought me? That's who C.L. Lewis is. I say, really? He say, yeah, Mama. He say, his fifth grade teacher had those books, and he began to read them in her class. And so he was reading those books before it became a movie. Very impressive. And so he went back, and when church was over, he went back and told Pastor Birds he couldn't have been no more than he was in elementary. He had to been by 9 or 10. And so he told Pastor Bird, he said, yeah, Pastor Bird, I know who C.L. Lewis is. And Pastor Bird looked at him and said, what? You know who C.L.? He said, yeah. I've read his books. And so he said, how you, boy, you reading like that? Because those books are not they're for children, but your child have to be an experienced reader to really comprehend what's going on in the novel, because they are novels. But anyway, my son was a very avid reader, and he would read everything. He would read the mail. He would read whatever you had laying up there. He'd read that too, So, but they turned out to be two beautiful, well-rounded men. And, every now and then I get kind of proud of them, but I'm thankful. I'm grateful. But it doesn't blow my head up. No. Because I know that it's going to be things that's going to try them, that's going to test them. And I know that, they can get discouraged. See, I know that certain things will make them fearful. I know that they're not exempt from anything. See, I know that. And so that's why I don't boast on them, because they still have growing and a lot to learn about life. And so I just try to be that comforter, that encourager, that support that they can lean on whenever they need me. That's what I try to be. But when it get too bad, then they'll come and tell me, they'll talk to me about it, which is a good thing. I respect that. I honor that. Even though they're grown and on their own, they're not here with me. But I still, thank God for them and how He has blessed me to be able to raise them, me and their late father. But I'm thankful for that. But I just wanted to come and tell you that Miss Rochelle had been feeling kind of not bad, but tired. And sometimes, it can make you feel kind of yucky if when you tired and can't get any energy. It'll make you feel kind of bad a little bit. But I try not to. I really, really try very hard. And see, a lot of times I have to stay talking to my Heavenly Father, because that's who comforts me. I believe that I believe in healings. I believe in miracles. I believe in all of that, you know? And so I don't believe that God is punishing me. I don't believe that. No, I don't. I believe that this is a thorn that I have to, he reminds me, I'm the one who keeps you. See, that's what that is. And so I don't let lupus depict my relationship with my Heavenly Father. No, I don't. No, I don't. So that's for me. I believe that that's that thorn, that I have. And we all have a thorn. We do. And so for me, I say, because he's been so good to me. He really has. And I try to give you a little glimpse of that so you can really see his goodness. I've been blessed. Everything that I've been through, God is still good. He's still good to me. And I thank him daily. Every day, I thank him for what he has done for me and how he has kept me and how he has blessed me. And I always tell you, whenever you can be at peace, where you don't have any worry. Yeah. See, I don't have that. I don't worry about anything because he's constantly give me what I need. Yes. I love the song. I love the very first verse of Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that saved a ranch like me. And to my understanding, I believe a ranch is a bird. Old nasty bird. It ain't a fancy bird. It's just a nothing of a bird. Ranch. Or old ranch like me. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys help me out. I think it is a bird. But I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. So if you listening to this video, if you know what a ranch is, go down in that comment section and tell me if I'm right or wrong. Because, I need help too. I don't know everything. But yeah, I love that verse. I love it. Because I think of myself as that. He has kept me. He has blessed me. If he never blesses me anymore, God has done enough for me. Yeah, he has. He has. Even through when I don't feel well, when I feel tired, he give me that little push. He just take that right hand and he just lifts me, and it's amazing, and I want everyone to be blessed. I want everyone to be walking in a purpose, because it's so much. It's someone out there that you can encourage. It's someone out there that you can tell your story to, who you can bless. You can bless someone. I always tell you that God does not bless us for us. He blesses us so we can bless someone else. Someone else that might be going through, that might need an encouraging word. And I'm here to encourage you. I want you to walk in your purpose. I want you to know what your purpose is. You know? And be thankful, be grateful for what God has done already for you. Thank Him for everything He's done. Because without Him, I'm nothing. Nothing. And see, I meditate on that. You know? I do. Because that's where I get my strength from. That's who kept me. When I thought I was losing my mind, when my husband passed away, you know, I thought I was gone. But God said, oh no, this is a process you have to go through. And I always tell you that in order for you to have a testimony, what do you have to do? You have to endure the test. You have to pass that test. You cannot have a testimony without the test. You got to. You got to endure that test. And once you endure the test, there comes a testimony. It is. So I thank you, as always, for listening to Miss Rochelle. And I'm on that battlefield. I'm going to stay on that battlefield. You know, I'm a prayer warrior. Even on Wednesdays after Bible study, you know, the pastor asks us to come in case someone needs prayer. And most of the time, you're going to get somebody that needs prayer. And so I'm always praying and interceding. I found that calling early in my life, like when I was in my 30s. I couldn't have been no more than 32, maybe 33, when I accepted that prayer. I just got into, I started going to prayer. They used to have prayer service on, I think, Mondays or Tuesdays. And I just started going. And that's how I got into, didn't know that that's what my calling was. Didn't know that. And the church that my children were raised in, they started a prayer ministry. And so we had to, if you wanted to be a prayer warrior, you had to interview with the pastor. And so I had to interview with Pastor Patrick. And I never forget I was so nervous. But I went in there. Next thing I knew, they were calling me and telling me that I was part of the prayer ministry and that I needed to come out on either Mondays or Tuesdays, one of the two, for prayer meeting and training. And at that particular time, when that prayer meeting, it had just they had just started it. And so they were under the guidelines of Tony Evans. I don't know if you guys remember Tony Evans. I think Tony Evans was in Dallas, I think I'm not for sure. But anyway, he had a big productive prayer ministry, and he wrote a book. He had pamphlets where he had wrote, if you wanted to establish a prayer ministry, this is the guidelines that you needed to go through and in training. So I had training. He put us through training, and we had to learn, when you're interceding for people, if a person is depressed or having issues, that's a spirit, and that spirit can sometimes, while you standing there holding their hands and praying for them, that same spirit can move out of them and move on to you, and before you know it, you're dealing with or struggling with, a spirit, and so we went under, and it was like, it wasn't many of us. I think it was about 5, maybe 6 people, but I think I was the youngest, out of everybody. But I took hold to it, and that's how I knew what my calling was. And so I've been doing it now half of my life. Half of my life, and my whole family know that's what I do, and they always on my Facebook page asking me, or they'll send me a text, to pray, for them, or they need to pray. They want to talk to me and want me to pray for them, and so I do, I do. But yeah, so I just wanted to come and share with you, and hopefully sometime today, like later today, Miss Rochelle will go live, and yeah, now that I talked it through, that made me feel a whole lot better. You see that? Yeah. But as always, I want you to be blessed. I want you to walk in your purpose. But most of all, I want you to get that special relationship with your Heavenly Father. Yes, I do. Because I want you to be blessed. I want you to be blessed and highly favored. Yay. Because it is a such thing. So, as always, stay blessed and not stressed. It's your girl sending you my love all the way from Houston, Texas. And as always, I'm so glad we had this little time together. Be blessed.